price hop out to the Big in Japan PSN sale. I've put together a list of games that can save you over £850. I mean, you're not going to buy them all, so don't worry, you don't have to spend that much. But the point is, there's a lot of great deals, so you should watch the whole video and subscribe so you never miss another deal again. Anyway, let's get on with the show. This is a sale full of Japanese weird and wonderful games, so if you've never experienced these sorts of games before, you're in for a wild ride. Let's look at the games. First up is 428 Shibuya Scramble. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £6.74, which is pretty good and the cheapest I've ever seen it. This is based on the visual novel where you follow 5 protagonists, inescapably drawn into a case of kidnapping and intrigue, where you control the characters and their stories. It features a 10-hour story with 90 different variants to experience. A bit of an unusual one this, but considering it's quite a long story, and there's so many different variants and variations within it, for anyone that likes this sort of game, you'll probably like it a lot, but it is a bit unusual, so take a look very carefully before picking it up. Our next game is Aegis of Earth Protonovus Assault. This game was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the cool price of £3.99. This is a tower defense game where you defend the last bastion of humanity against an unending onslaught of monster attacks, by collecting resources to research and build new units and upgrade your city. It features unlockable commanders with unique abilities to help you and your city survive. I'm a pretty big tower defense fan, and I've never seen a game like this before. It's very unique with the gameplay, how you build items in your city and then you can rotate parts of the city to point your weapons in different directions. It may not be the most demanding or graphically intense game you've ever seen, but if you love tower defense, then you'll want to look at this game because it's very unique and different. And if you've never played the tower defense before, then you might want to look elsewhere, as this is a pretty different one. Akibas Beat is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £3.99, which is a great deal, but it's usually on sale for this price, so no need to rush out and buy it, as I'm sure it'll be on sale again in a few months. This is an action JRPG set in the heart of Akihabara, Tokyo, where the delusions of otaku are coming to life and threatening the very fabric of reality, and only you can take to the streets and battle the creations of imagination to rescue Akihabara and its people. On a side note, the previous game, Akiba's Trip, is also on sale for 75% discount, £7.49 if you're interested in that too. But if you're not sure, there's a ton of Japanese RPGs on this sale, so take a look around. A very unusual game next, Birthday's the Beginning. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £10.49, which is okay. This is a sandbox game, where you get to design a world made from cubes, and adjust the temperature to create the conditions for life, and then witness the resulting birth of an entire ecosystem. You get to experiment with your worlds to create and collect every possible creature that develops from them. So it's a bit of a Minecraft crossed with Pokemon collecting game. It's a very unique and different game that'll appeal a lot to people that like chilled games where you spend a lot of time on something and then patiently wait for your time to pay off. Like a lot of games in this sale, it's not for everyone, but if you like the sound of it as a very different game, then why not check it out? I've never seen anything like it before, and I'm sure there'll be people out there that'll just love it. Black Clover Quartet Knight is our next game. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and is on an 84% discount for the price of £7.67, which is really good for an anime game with a franchise this big. This game is based on the popular anime and manga, featuring an exclusive story not featured in either, so fans of the show will love this. In this game you play as Astra, with his friends who take part in 4v4 team battles, where you get to play as a fighter, healer, support, or ranged, working together to win the battles. This seems like a pretty obscure game, so if you're not a fan of Black Clover, then you probably don't want to pick it up, and want to look at something else in the sale instead. It's back to the arcade next. Caladrius Blaze. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and is on an 85% discount for the price of £2.39, which is really good. This edition includes all content from both Caladrius and Caladrius AC, plus extra content included as well, which is great value. This is a vertical scrolling shooter, and it features multiple storylines with more than 15 unique characters, while playing as 8 unique pilots and their ships. It also includes a tutorial and synchro mode, making it enjoyable for even first time players, and as a bonus it includes 2-player offline co-op, which is pretty unusual for these sorts of games, and it's always a bonus to have co-op included. So if you're an old school fan of arcade scrolling shooters, you'll love this probably, especially at this price. And if you've never played one before, it's pretty cheap, so you might want to take a chance on it. It's just a great deal, so why not consider it? More action next. Code Vein Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £16.24, which is a little higher than I normally like, but it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. And you get a lot of extra content in this edition as well, like the entire season pass, and the Mia bonus content, as well as the Insatiable Bloodthirst accessory pack. So it's not too bad with all that included as well. This is a third-person action RPG set after a mysterious disaster in a future apocalypse where the last few hidden survivors called Vayne are blessed with power in exchange for their memories and a thirst for blood, risking becoming one of the bloodthirsty lost forever by utilizing their powers more and more. This game features co-op gameplay, which is really awesome and unique for an RPG. I wish more games would include this. So if you're a fan of Code Vein, or you like the sound of the unique RPG elements, then you might be very interested in this game. But otherwise, there's plenty of other RPGs to look at, and better deals as well if you're not interested in Code Vein specifically. We have another visual novel next, Code Realize Bouquet of Rainbows. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £13.49, which isn't bad considering it contains 2 full games, and again, Japanese games don't usually discount too much, so this is pretty good. This bundle includes the first game, Code Realize Guardian of Rebirth, and the sequel Future Blessings. In these games you get to live out your husbando fantasies in these harem visual novels aimed at women. You play as Cardia in a steampunk world where her touch kills people instantly, but luckily you're surrounded by men who want to help you solve your mystery. On a side note, the third game is also on sale for 60% discount, £17.99, which isn't a great deal, but if you're a fan of these and you've got the first 2, then you might just be interested in the third. So if you're into guys and visual novels, then you'll probably love these games, but if not, then you're probably not interested at all and should move on to something else. Our next game is Conception Plus Maidens of the 12 Stars. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £14.99, which is okay. This is an RPG where you're transported to the world of Grandvania, where you have been dubbed God's gift, who must save the world from evil with your star children, born from the 12 star maidens by strengthening your bond with them. Now if this sounds like it should have been a hentai plot, then yeah, that kind of sounds like it to me as well. But if you've had any experience of anime in the past, this won't be much of a surprise to you. Anime is different in more ways than one, and that's why it's loved. So just learn to roll with it and enjoy the ride. So if you're a fan of RPGs and anime, and you just want to roll with it and enjoy this ride, you enjoy yourself and get this game. I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun. And if this sounds really weird and odd to you, what are you doing in a big in Japan anime game sale? I mean seriously, you're out of your depth. You should leave right now and save your poor unfortunate soul before it's too late. But for the rest of us, it's on to the next game. Next we have Krista. It was released in 2019, so it was 2 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £14.99, which is a little high, but again it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. In this action RPG you play as Rai, who is fighting through the afterworld purgatory to rescue Mirai, her little sister that she killed. You get to harness your own grief to craft weapons, armor, and summon guardians to protect you in battle. Now I'm sure the keen-eyed among you are thinking, hang on, if she killed her sister, then why would she do so much to rescue her? Yeah, that don't make sense to me either, but hey, it's anime. Just roll with it, alright? It's definitely a very unique story, and it looks like a pretty cool RPG as well. So if you're a fan of action RPGs, you might want to take a look at this. And if you've never played an action RPG before, then you should look elsewhere as you can get much cheaper deals on other games. Demon Gaze 2 is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £11.24, which isn't bad. In this dungeon crawler, Magnastar has spellbound the people of Zestiria into obeying him, but you are the Demon Gazer, able to wield the power of demons to start a revolution to liberate the people of Zestiria. So it looks like a pretty standard anime storyline, but it's a very old school dungeon crawler, the type that hasn't been around for decades. Whereas first person, you pick the direction you go and you see what's there. If you were around in those days and you love those games, then you'll probably really enjoy this, but if you've never heard of them and you don't know what I'm talking about, this is very unlikely to be a game you'll enjoy. But hey, if you like trying something different and you want to take a chance, you might just want to take a look at it. But there are other options that do get cheaper than this, so if you're not sure, you might want to check out another sale instead. They're the champions, Digimon World Next Order. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £7.99, which is really good, and it's the cheapest I've ever seen it. In this RPG, you get to recruit faithful Digimon and raise 2 of them at the same time, fusing them together to create more powerful monsters to use in real-time battles that favour Digimon cooperation and tactics. I was never a Digimon fan as a kid, but hey, the games have always had a good reputation, and people that love the series love the games. So if you're a fan of Digimon and you like RPGs, you should probably take a look at this. But if you're not a fan of Digimon, there are other RPGs to look at instead. And if you're feeling lucky and you just want to take a chance on it, then at this price, I'm not going to tell you not to. It's a good deal. Up next is my star buy, Doraemon Story of Seasons. It was released in 2020, so it's only a year old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £6.99, which is really good and the cheapest I've ever seen it. This game is a farming simulator, and it's basically a clone of Harvest Moon, but Doraemon themed. You get to manage a derelict farm, clearing it up, upgrading it, farming crops, rearing animals, fishing, cooking, and much more. The only thing I think that's missing compared to a normal Harvest Moon game is that there's no relationship system, so if that's a deal breaker for you, then stay away from this game. But hey, if you like Harvest Moon games, they don't really make them anymore, so if you've played Stardew Valley and you're bored of that, then this is a really good alternative for you. It looks awesome, I'm a fan of Harvest Moon myself, it's my star buy for a reason. Definitely check it out. Even if you've never played games like this before, you might just find a new genre that you love. Just beware that these games are very chill and take a lot of time to play, so if you're an action fiend, you won't enjoy them. Up next we have Exist Archive, The Other Side of the Sky. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £14.99, which is okay for an anime game. In this game, Kanata and their friends are imbued with pieces of the dark god Yamataga's soul, and sent to the Protolexo without reason. It's now up to you to find your friends, unravel the reason behind your situation, and escape to freedom. This looks like another solid JRPG, and for fans of this genre, you really have a lot of games to choose from this sale. I don't envy you at all. Good luck with your decisions. It's an old school wrestling game next, FirePro Wrestling World Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £14.99, which is a little high, but it's the cheapest I've ever seen it, and it comes with a load of DLC. With the Fire Promoter, Fighting Road 2017 NJPW Junior Heavyweight Championship, and an additional scenario DLC as well. It's a lot of content included, so the price isn't so bad. This game is based on the old school classic, and features ultimate customization, where even the ring can be customized. And you can also download and share your own wrestlers online, and it includes 4-player online multiplayer as well. So there's a lot of fun to be had downloading wrestlers from online and also making your own and putting them up for other people to play with. So if you're a fan of old school wrestling games that are 2D and not 3D, this is the ultimate game for you. And if you're a fan of wrestling and you're willing to overlook the 2D graphics, then there's a lot of good fun to be had in this series. You might just want to take a look at it. Another big anime franchise next, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Eyes of Heaven. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, but it's on an 86% discount for a crazy price of £6.71. That's a really good discount price for a Japanese game. And this release includes a lot of DLC that wasn't free in the Japan release, which is really cool. This game is a third-person action brawler with 2v2 fights, with team attacks in big open arenas filled with tons of interactions. It also features an exclusive original story and more than 50 characters from the first 8 chapters of the manga. So if you're a JoJo fan, you'll absolutely love this game. And if you're not a JoJo's fan, then at this price you might want to pick it up as a brawler game, but make that decision yourself because it'll depend how much you'll get out of this game without liking JoJo. It's a visual novel again, Kotodoma The 7 Mysteries of Fujisaur. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on an 80% discount for the low price of £3.99, which is really good. In this game you get to investigate 7 mysteries, and solving the puzzle gameplay to strip your targets naked and expose their lies to solve the mystery. With repeat playthroughs you get to uncover more facts, and finding them all uncovers the true ending and the full art gallery. Yeah, that's right, you heard me. Strip them naked to expose their lies. Yeah, that's not figurative, it's literal. Welcome to anime. This game is very similar to Honey Pop, if you remember that. That was a pretty popular game, and it was really good. I played it myself, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was a really fun little puzzle game. Now this game does look like a cheap knockoff of that, but hey, if you like that game, or you're a big fan of Bejeweled style puzzling and anime girls, then you'll really enjoy this game, and it's at a really cheap price. And if you haven't played a game like this before, then at this price, you might as well take a chance, you might enjoy yourself. Some VR next. Mega Dimension Neptunia V2R. It was released in 2018, so it's 3 years old, and is on at least a 60% discount for a price of £9.99 or £7.49 with PS Plus, which is a pretty good deal if you've got PS Plus. This is a remake of the original, with improved graphics, a new battle system, and slightly changed story. In this RPG, the game is split into 3 chapters, each with a unique story for you to experience, and it also features a VR mode to meet the characters from the game, as well as an online challenge mode, massive enemies to defeat, transformations for your characters, custom combos, team attacks, and more. So this looks like a pretty cool RPG, with some extra modes and the VR thrown in as well. So if you've got a PSVR headset and you always wanted to meet anime girls, that'll be a very enjoyable bonus for you, as this looks like a really cool game, and the rest of the stuff they've thrown in is just a very nice bonus. So check it out if you like the sound of that, but if not, don't worry, there's plenty of other games for you to look at instead. Our next game is Onishambra Z2 Chaos. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the price of £4.99, which is really good. This is a third-person brawler, where you get to play as 2 sets of buxom vampire sisters, battling your way through a dozen stages of demon slaying action, full of gory combos and quick-time executions. This is just good old-fashioned fun. If you enjoy running through levels, fighting enemies and beating them up with huge combos and great finishing animations, then you'll love this game. And if you've got a bit of a thing for vampires with big boobs, then you'll really enjoy the art style. But if you're offended by that, then what are you doing in this sale? Seriously, go somewhere more mainstream, where the snowflakes won't melt. And if you're still here and you're a fan of brawlers, you'll really enjoy this game. And if you've never played a brawler before, then at this price, you might want to take a chance on it. It's a really good fun game. Next we have Our World Is Ended. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 70% discount for the price of £13.49, which isn't bad. This is a visual novel, in which Owari creates a VR world, and you realise you have the ability to hack it while you're in it, but the world is somehow creating obstacles for you, and at the same time a mysterious organisation is sending people in to kill you, which would also end your life in the real world as well. As with all visual novels, the story and premise is pretty much everything. So if you're intrigued by this story, or you like the look of the pictures, then you might want to check it out, and if you've never played a visual novel before, then you might want to save your money for a cheaper one, and give that one a shot instead. We're going a bit old school next. Rogue Stormers. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and is on at least a 70% discount for the price of £4.79, or £3.19 with PS Plus, so it's a really good deal. This is a run and gun game that combines the classic gameplay with RPG elements, roguelike gameplay, and 4-player local and online multiplayer. So there's not much of a story to this game, it's all about old school gameplay and action. So if you're a fan of those old games, like Contra, but you want something a bit more complicated with all these extra elements thrown in as well, you'll really enjoy this game. It's based on a fundamental game type that's really great, and then it throws in a load of interesting extras as well. This is definitely very unique, and if you like any of what I've said, you should definitely take a look at it, because I've got the feeling it's a hidden gem, and if more people knew about it, then they'd play it. So why not check it out, and tell other people about it as well if you're feeling generous. We have a fighting game next, Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection. It was released in 2020, so it's only a year old, but the games are much older than that really. And it's on a 75% discount for the price of £8.74, which is really good, as this collection includes Samurai Showdown 1 to 5, plus 5 Special, and the never released before 5 Perfect. So you're getting 7 complete games for this price, which is awesome. I mean, it's barely over £1 a game. It's a really good deal. With these games you get to experience the legendary weapon-based fighting series, with all the Neo Geo editions, a museum mode, a music player, and online multiplayer for all of the included titles, which is a really nice add-on, because online multiplayer is huge for fighters. It really makes them infinitely more replayable than otherwise. The fact that they added it in really sells these games to me, it really does. So if you're a fan of old school fighters, specifically this series, you should definitely check this out because it's a really great deal for a lot of really good games, with some modern extras thrown in as well. You can't go far wrong. And if you've never played old school fighters before, then you can get them cheaper individually, so you might want to buy one of them instead in another sale. Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter is next. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £11.99, which isn't bad. This is a third-person action game set in the Onishambra universe, more specifically in the prestigious Kirasaka High School, where 5 students are trapped from the outside world and surrounded by endless zombie hordes, so you must survive long enough to find the sources and end this crisis forever. If you're a fan of zombie action games, you'll probably like this game, especially if you're into the Onishambra universe. But if you're just looking for a zombie action game, you're probably better off with Dead Rising 2 because that's a better deal. Next up is another visual novel, Song of Memories. It was released in 2019, so it was 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for a price of £7.49, which isn't bad. This is a romantic story with dark undertones. This musical-themed love story takes a dark turn as an apocalyptic virus begins sweeping across the world and threatens to infect those closest to you. So it seems like a pretty unusual story for a visual novel. But hey, if you're a fan of visual novels, that'll be great for you because it's different. But again, if you're not a fan of visual novels, there's a few that are on sale that you might be tempted to pick up. But if you're not interested at all, there's plenty more games for you to check out. Next we have a really awesome JRPG, Tales of Zestiria Digital Standard Edition. It was released in 2015, so it's 6 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the crazy price of £6.24, which is unbelievable for a JRPG of this quality. And as a bonus, this edition includes extra mystic arts for your characters and a PS4 theme as well, so that's nice of them. This JRPG is set in a world torn by war and political skirmishes, where you play as Sori. Blessed with powers by the Seraphim, you must now reunite humans and Seraphim by freeing the land from terrifying creatures spawned by negative emotions, known as the Helion. This game is from a legendary series of JRPGs, and from what I can tell they're not connected. A lot like the Final Fantasy games, they're all good, but you don't have to have played them all to get them. Which is great because this is a really good game at a really good deal, and I'd hate for you to miss out because you think you're missing out on some story, which you're not. This is a really good JRPG from an awesome series of games at a really good price. It's unbelievably good value, it really is. It's such a good game for the money. It's highly recommended for anyone that loves JRPGs and hasn't played it yet, and if you've never played a JRPG, then I'd recommend this because it's a really good quality one at an awesome price, so definitely check it out. Next up we have Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunters Daybreak Special Gigs. Yep, that's the title, I didn't just have a heart attack. It was released in 2016, so it's 5 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £4.79, which is okay. This is an RTS crossed with a visual novel, where you play as the Gatekeepers, who gather an array of talented individuals who have the ability to see ghosts, and now must battle against the evil spirits lurking within the shadows of Tokyo. This is an extremely unique game. I don't think I've ever seen a visual novel with turn-based tactical gameplay in it before, which is very odd, and it would probably appeal to a lot of people. It'll be a niche market, but they'll love it. So if you're a fan of tactical RPG, specifically turn-based, and if you're a fan of visual novels, then you might want to try this game because it combines the two and I doubt you've ever seen anything like it before. And if this all sounds weird, then stay clear, it's probably a bit too unusual for you. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. It was released in 2017, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £9.99, which isn't bad. This is a third-person action RPG, no surprise there, and this edition is remastered with 60 frames per second frame rate, and includes new scenarios, new playable characters, new modes, and more. In this game you play a high school student, Ko, who follows his friends into an alley where they are drawn into the nightmare realm known as Eclipse, where they now work with the Nemesis group to try and close the interdimensional vortexes for good. This looks like a pretty decent RPG, but it doesn't have a big blockbuster name attached to it, so if you're a fan of a particular series, you're bound to like one of the other games in this sale, but if you're not, this is definitely worth considering. Our next game is World End Syndrome. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and is on a 75% discount for the price of £8.74, which isn't too bad. This is a visual novel, where you play through a romantic horror story, spending your summer days exploring local legends, interacting with residents to uncover the mystery lurking below the town's idyllic exterior. It features gorgeous artwork from Yuki Kato, who is the lead artist for the BlazBlue franchise. So if you're a fan of the art style from that, this will be familiar to you and you'll really enjoy it. And by now you know what I think of visual novels. They're as good as their story, so if you like the idea of a romantic story with a mystery lurking below, then you might enjoy this one. But if you're not a fan of romantic stories, then you might want to stay clear and pick up a different one instead. And hey, if you've never played a visual novel before, then you can pick them up cheaper than this. But this is a decent deal, so you can think about it, but there will be other options around. Oh look, another visual novel. You Know, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World. Again, I'm not having a stroke, that's the title. It was released in 2019, it's 2 years old, and it's on a 70% discount for the price of £13.49, which is okay. In this visual novel, using the power of the reflector, you must travel through time into multiple timelines, gathering clues to solve the disappearance of your parents. Warning, it contains adult content. Most of you probably thought, warning, that's what I'm here for, so well done, you'll love this game. But if the rest of you are a bit more conservative, you won't want to play this game, because you can sleep with practically every girl in this game. This is based on a pretty famous series, and fans of anime might know of it. It was pretty historically important, and this is the first time it's been officially released in English. So for fans of that, this is your chance to play it. So if you like really good visual novels with risque content, then you'll have a blast with this. But if you're a bit too shy for that, take a look at the other games, or check out the more mainstream sales instead. Because I won't judge you, but God might, and you wouldn't want that, would you? Be a good little Christian and run along now. And please don't be offended if you're not a Christian. I'm sure whatever God you believe in is equally disappointed in your game choices. I'm sure all gods feel shame equally. And the final game I have for you is Zanki Zero Last Beginning. It was released in 2019, so it's 2 years old, and it's on an 80% discount for the price of £9.99. In this dungeon explorer, set in a post-apocalyptic world, you play 8 clones who only live for 13 days, exploring the ruins and dungeons of a set of islands, but as your characters age, their abilities change, and with each new death bringing new possibilities for the next clone that replaces them. So it's a pretty old school dungeon explorer, with a really cool and different story that makes a big difference and a huge twist to the genre. So if you're a fan of those old school dungeon explorers, where you go through room by room, left to right, forward to back, but you want something a bit more modern with a cool story, this is definitely for you. But if all of this sounds confusing or you don't know what I'm talking about, then this genre is pretty old and you probably won't like it, so stay clear of it in that case. And that's all the games I have for you for the Big in Japan PSN sale. Don't forget, if you've saved some money in this sale and you liked it, subscribe so you don't miss the next sale and save yourself even more money. But hey, what did you guys think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones? Did I pick bad ones? And that includes the style buy. Was it garbage? Or what would you have picked instead? Anyway, I hope you guys found some games you're interested in. And more importantly, I hope you guys saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Hoil Vour.